Copyright and Educational Use Notice. This training video is provided solely for educational and instructional purposes and forms part of the learning resources accompanying the book Fashion Stylist. The images displayed within the mood boards are the copyrighted works of their respective photographers, designers, brands, or rights holders. These images are shown only for visual reference, analysis, and the teaching of fashion styling concepts. No ownership of these images is claimed, and no endorsement or affiliation is implied. This content may not be copied, downloaded, recorded, shared, redistributed, or reused in any form. Hello again! Welcome back for the second bonus training video that accompanies Step 4 in the book Fashion Stylist. Today, we're going to run through how to interpret your mood board and define the styling. As I mentioned in the chapter, there's always temptation to charge ahead with the prep and forget all about those magnificent references on your mood board. It's so easy to jump ahead, get busy prepping, and then skip vital visual information. And then you're left wondering why your outfit's lackluster on the shoot day. This is a crucial step before you start sourcing garments, and being disciplined with this step trains your eye to see every single detail. A razor-sharp awareness of your inspiration not only informs your styling strategy, but will propel you from being an average stylist to an amazing stylist. And darling, you weren't born for average. Now, before we begin digging into the references, I want to emphasize that the mood board is always an inspirational jumping off point. We never want to copy or recreate someone else's work. Use the mood board to feed yourself creatively and use it as a North Star that you consistently refer back to. But when it comes to the image making process and creating your own outfits, make sure you put your own stamp on your work. Take a look at this mood board I created some years back for a fashion spread. It's filled with dark, opulent references. Now take a look at one of the images from our shoot. You can see where the inspiration has come from: the hair, the makeup, the styling, set design, and mood. However, myself and the team have not copied anyone else's work. We've created our own vision based on the mood board. So please keep this in mind as you begin to shoot and build your own portfolio. Copying is never cool. Being authentic and innovative is what will make your work stand out. Okay, darlings, let's get stuck in. I'm going to interpret this mood board with you so you can see my entire process and how I put all the key ingredients from the chapter into action. This mood board starts with something very familiar: the humble puffer jacket. What you're seeing here is an everyday piece, and I wanted to create a story about how it could be reworked on the body by wrapping it, tying it, scrunching it, pulling it off the shoulder, layering fabric on top, etc., etc. This might look like a high fashion story, but you don't need designer garments to do a shoot like this. You just need to be very clever with the styling. By simply changing how the jackets were worn, I was able to exaggerate proportion, silhouette, and amplify the editorial attitude. I had a very clear idea in my mind while pulling these images together of who the muse was: a youthful, playful woman defined by contrast, balancing sculpture and softness. As you can see in the references, she feels edgy but refined, confident but not aggressive. She's modern, feminine, slightly aloof, and feels completely at home in a magazine like Dazed or ID. The simplicity of the studio references here is intentional. Flat backdrops in grey, pink, and neutral tones strip everything back so your eye goes straight to the styling. Nothing detracts from the silhouette, the textures, or how the garments sit on the body. This was the key focus. If you gaze across the mood board, red and pink keep repeating, supported by purple, inky blues, black, cream, and beige. The palette feels soft but assertive at the same time. Let's hone in on the individual references from the board. I was particularly drawn to this purple and red striped look here, where the puffer is worn on one shoulder and almost strapped around the body. This image really unlocked the idea of asymmetry and restraint with volume. I love how the jacket is barely there on the right-hand side, draped on her upper arm. And notice how the sleeve is completely scrunched up to the elbow. The slim glove was a great addition to highlight the puff sleeves. This image served as a key indicator for accessories. I needed to bring upper length gloves and tons of belts that could be used to strap the puffers onto the body. With this image, I was drawn to the idea of making each outfit tonal. It really keeps the focus on the silhouette, and I just love the sensory information. The padded, light and puffy jackets combined with the delicate ruched satin sleeves. This image breaks the mold of stereotypical femininity, and I am totally here for it. What I was exploring across the images is how garments can be worn unconventionally. They're twisted, wrapped, tied, and pulled into place to create uneven, unexpected shapes. Volume is exaggerated in specific areas and then controlled elsewhere, so the silhouette feels sculptural rather than just oversized. This was an element that informed my styling on the day. I was mindful to balance outfits and not have my muse looking bulky. I wanted her to look beautiful, not like the Michelin Man. I liked the idea of wrapping blankets, duvets, and even plastic sheets in with other puffer jackets, ideas that all stemmed from these three images here. Texture was a huge focus here. The quilted puffers take on new shapes once they're manipulated on the body. I was thinking how things could be worn upside down, inside out, or draped across the body. I also leaned into these two references with pleated and lace skirts. Those lighter, feminine textures soften the overall silhouette. Pattern is minimal on the board, but I was open to introducing floral or check scarves wrapped or tied around the puffers purely as a way to disrupt form rather than add decoration. I thought the image on the left could also be interpreted as a pillow in a check pillowcase, strapped onto the body or tied around with a belt. And I really liked how the floral wrap around her jacket creates a strong line across the shoulders and then wraps around the body in a delicate V shape. Adding the little details is where the styling process really comes alive. One of my favourite references here is the sports bras worn over puffer jackets. It's such a simple styling trick, but it completely changes the shape of the garment. And the bands along the sleeve is such a cool idea too, that could easily be adapted to any part of the body. I also love the slimline sports jackets worn underneath, zipped up to the neck. I thought to interpret this styling with a high neck satin blouse. I was also drawn to this metallic corset reference. I didn't have a corset on the shoot day, but what I did have was an abundance of belts in different widths, so I stacked them to suggest a corset. I kept my looks tonal, so I didn't include any metallic pieces. However, the idea of creating my own corsets stemmed from this image. I leaned into these two pairs of boots, the cherry red painted and the turquoise thigh highs, to lead my footwear decisions. Although the majority of my outfits were tonal, I wanted to punctuate a couple of the looks with a sharp hit of colour. I love the statement boot, bare leg and puffer jacket combo. It feels feminine and created a sexy balance with sculptural volumes. For headwear, I referenced this image and took a DIY approach, experimenting with wide-brimmed hats and building onto them using bags, buckles and stockings. The final shape was tilted to the side as a nod to the original reference rather than a direct copy. You might also notice references like the bunched clothing hangers, the motorbike helmet with a mohawk, or the red faux fur sleeves in the centre of the board. I didn't use these on the day. You don't need to use each and every reference depicted on your mood board. It's not about being a literal translation, but about taking inspiration from styling elements and weaving them into your own unique visual language. And that's how I unpick all the references, so I can have a clear understanding of how I'm going to style a shoot and therefore know exactly what I need to prep. From here, I scribble precise notes down into a list, and then I'm ready for step 5, sourcing garments and putting the looks together. Okay, let's run through one more board together and make a list of everything we need to style the shoot. The character instantly jumps out. She's a free spirit with a love for the outdoors and a daring sense of fashion. Shot on location in the countryside with fields, farms, highlands and rivers. Across the board, each look mixes multiple patterns anchored by colour. Tangerine, pumpkin, crimson red, azure blue, teamed with more muted tones such as blush and cream. There's darker tones of brown and grey speckled throughout too. The maximalist combination of layering, colour and pattern is central to the storytelling. There's a lot going on here in terms of pattern, so let's break it down step by step so you discipline that styling muscle. It's easy for the mind to automatically jump from countryside inspiration to Scottish tartan, but that's not the case here, so let's get specific about naming the patterns for our list. Check out the model on the right hand side. I'm clocking blue sport socks with green trainers. Also the navy and burgundy tartan fabric wrapped around the body with a black polo neck worn underneath. Look at how the large mustard check coat is styled off the shoulder and topped off with an orange faux fur trimmed hat. There's so much going on here, but it's all been so carefully considered, and that's why it works. Now to the model in the middle. She's sporting a checkerboard pattern bodysuit, tartan fabric wrapped around her waist, a blue bum bag and a large faux fur hat. Observe how the stylist has created a slit with the fabric to showcase those epic leggings. On the left, a graphic plaid hood teamed with a Fair Isle knitted balaclava. Here, the pattern, textures and colours all add depth to the styling. More tartan here? Let's take a closer look at the patterns. The girl on the left is wearing a traditional check coat. Note it's oversized, but the skirt may actually be a tie-dye pattern. Next, the model in the middle is wearing a geometric lattice pattern oversized coat with a tartan skirt. And to the right, the model is wearing diagonal striped tights in candy colours paired with a bright red bag. This pop of pattern is a clever way to bring the outfit together and link it with the rest of the looks. So really think about how you can curate the clothing. Combine items that might not initially appear to fit your brief, but when reimagined, create one cohesive outfit that nails your storytelling. Take heed of the delicate colours and patterns in the mix too. The blush peach stripes depicted on the left and the off-white yellow flower pattern on the right. It would be easy to overlook these elements and just reach only for tartan, and in doing so, you might miss out on some crucial key pieces that add an unexpected boost to the styling. This is such a great look to unpick. Just look at all that fabulous layering of colour and texture from head to toe. I'm obsessed. We've got a navy skin-tight Balenciaga monochrome hooded top, a check coat with vivid orange panelling, interlocking chain-link patterned leggings worn under herringbone culottes, white sports socks, trainers with red laces and green, white and black patterning. Also, she has what appears to be fingerless gloves just poking out underneath the sleeve and a backpack. Darlings, I'm not listing this so you can memorise it all. I'm showing you how much information is hiding in plain sight. There's a lot of dynamic layering going on with this outfit, with each and every piece being carefully considered and thoughtfully executed. So really take the time to look at the images on your mood board, as they will direct and strengthen how you style your shoot. This azure blue faux fur coat is serving sensory explosion. Just look at those exaggerated and squared shoulders. J'adore the drama. If this shoulder detail was something that particularly inspired you, you could always add cardboard or fabric under the shoulders of any jacket to recreate this vibe. And note the texture contrast. This heavy statement coat has been styled with a slimline dress in a lightweight fabric. Simply gorgeous. Next up to be fashionably dissected, an oversized chunky knit teamed with a fluffy faux fur aviator hat. A powerful image. Zoom in on the styling details. We get a glimpse of a textured cream knit under the orange sleeve. It's a very subtle styling detail, but remember, all of these little details add up to create the full look. Notice the accessories. A pop of green around the neck and a large ceramic feather necklace dangling over the sweater. Both on point for the muse and the mood. This oversized traditional check twin set is worn with chuka fabric and knotted around the shoulders. Ordinarily, the combo would be a little safe if it wasn't for the wrap native to the Maasai people of East Africa. Because of it, the twee twin set transforms into a bold, maximalist editorial outfit. This look is so cool. I selected it as the laser-cut sweater echoes the checkerboard and tartan patterns, but offers a fresh perspective on how to layer these ideas into the storytelling. I was drawn to the contrast between the brilliant white and charcoal grey, which makes this look pop. If something like this speaks to you, you could always customise your own version by cutting up a second-hand sweater from a charity shop. It really can be that easy. And take a peep at her footwear. You could easily customise your own version by using flowers, rushes or faux feathers stuffed in boots. And finally, what's interesting here are those dazzling red upper-length gloves that offer a colour contrast with the dandelion yellow coat. This image signals to me to include some bright gloves into the mix, as these key accessories could elevate any look on the shoot day. And remember, if you can't find any from PRs or showrooms, think creatively how you could reimagine the accessories on your mood board. These gloves could be a pair that are used to wash dishes that you spray with red paint. Et voila, your fabulous vision comes to life. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're styling menswear, womenswear, or gender-neutral clothing. How you interpret the references on your mood board and define the styling is all the same process. Your imagination is limitless. So once you've run through each and every image, just like I've shown you, decide what elements you want to incorporate into your styling. Then write a list of everything you need to prep. By doing this, you'll skip the overwhelm because you'll know exactly the direction that you're going in, and the list becomes the roadmap to get you there. This process only takes a few minutes, and it's crucial, but you'd be surprised how many people don't delve into all the visual information that's just bursting from your mood board. It's something I hear photographers and clients complain about all the time. Focus. Become hawk-eyed about the styling details. It will serve you well going forward. That's it, my loves. And remember, if you post your mood boards on social media, mention me at Christine Kilty so I can take a look and celebrate your awesome work. You're now ready to prep those killer outfits, so delve into step 5 and have fun. Good luck!